Now, NBC's Sanford Son was based on a British program called Steptoe and Son.
Correct.
Now, what significance can be placed on the fact that the lead characters went from white antique dealers in London to junk dealers in Watts?
Well, I'm sorry.
More than welcome. Either one of you.
I can tell you this. There's little significance. There is no significance in that it went from white actors to black actors. And I spoke to Norman Lear about this. He was very clear in saying that Red was hired because he was hysterically funny and very talented, not because he was black.
So you're saying it really had nothing to do with
it
anything
It turned out to be a black show, but that's not why he was hired. Right. Nobody said, hey, let's make this a black show. No.
Okay. I think when you referred to Diane Carroll when she played Julia, there were some people who didn't like the idea. They said that does not depict where we are at this point. There were also quite a few African Americans who had no problem with it, and I was one of them, because it gave an image of where you could be. And I always try to live futuristically. I know where I am now, but there's always something better. So you move toward that, and that's what made me so pleased with that program. Because
were there no black nurses at that time?
Not. There were, but I'm sure there were not in an abundance in most people's lives and families.
Nor as beautiful.
No, that's true too.
She was beautiful.
She was. I think we have become, a lot of people have become accustomed to it being a certain way, to being portrayed. And interestingly enough, what I found is challenging was the same people who complained about the other portrayal now complaining about a better portrayal, a portrayal that was, I would say, almost generic. It was, this is the way America is, rather than this is the way a particular group is.
Oh, I see. So Sanford Son, you didn't think that was a kind of a stereotypical characters in that of what whites saw a black community as
Sanford Son was just plain funny.
Well, yes, it certainly
really it was. I mean, and I don't think anybody looked at it as a stereotype.
It was a strong father-son relationship. That was played every week. That relationship between the two.
And the humor
but I
was
think
good.
You're right. It was fun.
Yeah, it was, and the humor would work anywhere from Sanford and Son, and some of the things, and Fred always set himself up. He'd get in trouble, and then they're trying to get him out of it. But that also was funny. But the thing was, though, there were real. It was more like real life experiences that people might have, especially struggling people.
So you say it's something that you think that the black community, even though you said it could have been a white show or a black show, that the black community was able to identify with it in some sort of level?
Because it was a good show.
It was just
so.
on that funny level.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Orenstein, when you and co-producer Saul Turtletub undertook to present Sanford Son, questions arose from no less than the NAACP concerning the idea that the story of a black family would be told by two white Jewish writers. You know, how did you deal with that?
We hired two black writers to write a show about a Jewish family. No, I'm only kidding. There was objection from the NAACP. To Red's credit, he came forward and was very strong in telling them that he liked the way the show was being done. He liked the writers. He got along with us very well. And if there were any black writers who wanted to write on the show, just speak to the producers, and they'll see if they can do it. So there were very few black comedy writers at that time. But I understand the objection, but Red handled it for us.
So he basically played a mediator.
Yeah, he said, no, these guys are great. You know.
Now, a more militant media figure emerged in the 80s and 90s following new television shows like Keenan Ivory Wayans In Living Color. When it premiered, how did this change the way the black community saw itself?
I've never seen myself as a Wayans brother.
As a Wayans brother?
No, never seen myself as a Wayans brother. It was a good
I know
show.
there's a lot of them. You
I know, but no, that's not my image of me. And it's all right. I've never been a great fan of it.
So you didn't really connect with them then?
No, I didn't.
As far as their humor, or just with?
Sometimes they were funny, but kind of foolish sometimes. But there are people who loved it, and evidently they stayed on the air. It just wasn't my type of show.
Okay. Today's black characters seem to be more blended into storylines than before. Black characters on Grey's Anatomy and Desperate Housewives share the central focus as an ensemble style that hopefully better reflects modern life. Do you see this as a continuing trend with a positive impact?
Sure. It'll continue, and it's very positive. We don't think of those characters as black or white or green. They're just characters on the show, and if they don't work on the show, they'll be off the show. The characters are there because they make the show better and easier for the networks to sell. That's it. I mean, that's a little cynical, I know. But
now, we were just speaking about how blacks are more written into the line of a show. They're more stronger characters in the show. Do you see this as a trend, moving towards that?
Well, the question is, are they written as black performers, or are they just written as characters, and the casting people happen to hire a good actor? There are a lot of shows where they're black performers that there's no reference to them being black necessarily. The character was written, the casting person said, I got this terrific actor, he'd be terrific, or she'd be great. They bring him in, they read him, yeah, but she's black, so what?
So you think that mindset
I think that
was brought about by,
absolutely.
Brought
about by the shows,
through,
yes.
Through all these past shows. Okay.
Unless it's a show where where there's a lot of racial references, there's no reason to think that they weren't hired for any other reason than they were talented.
Now, I've heard that the sitcom is kind of a dying breed.
No, don't say that.
But how do you feel about like shows that have an all-black cast, like in Living Color and well, not in Living Color, but A Different World and Cosby Show and things, where the majority of the cast is Afro-American. Do you see an increase in those types of shows or a decrease in them?
The reason that situation comedies are being seen less is because of the reality shows, which don't take writers. And as a writer, I'm opposed to them.
You're appalled by them.
I hate them. That's it. Quote me. But I don't know the answer to the real essence of your question.
Well, just saying is as a trend, we've seen the trends in television change over the past 30 years dealing with African Americans on TV. And here in the 80s and 90s, and currently you've seen a lot of sitcoms come out that have an entire black cast. And they may have one white person on the show or not at all. And my question was, do you think that there's going to be more episodes or sitcoms like that coming out with an all-black cast, or do you think it's going to go into it more like we were talking before with Grey's Anatomy, where you have an actor who's hired because of the
How about a
character
show with an all-gay cast and one straight person? I mean, I think that's what you're asking. I don't think so. People look to put on shows that are funny that will be accepted by the general public. I don't see any big shift coming. We were talking about what kind of show would you like to try to sell to a network, and I thought that a show with a Muslim character would be perfect on the show in Canada called Little Mosque on the Prairie. A silly title, but very funny, and there might be some changes in that regard. But I think the black community is well represented on television in a very positive light. I really do. Just as, I mean, you find as many offbeat black performers as you find offbeat white performers. I mean, watch The Big Bang Theory, hey,
Okay, when you're looking at a show that has, or shows that have a large number of black characters or all, but they generally spin off from one like that too. And I don't think, I think people watch TV or whatever they're looking at for the quality of the production. I do.
Well, Sanford Son, we had those spin-offs, and they were not successful. And Sanford Son was successful because of Red.
Yeah.
I mean, and Red wasn't on the spin-off, so lesson to be learned.
Now, you're originally from Toronto.
Yes.
Canadian television, how did it differ from the United States television in regards to dealing with African Americans on TV?